Okay, so here are the first two squares that we've done. Our initial square and our second square. Now we're going to put this square in, which means we need to cast on, and then we'll pick up across. So we're going to start with our gray yarn, and we're going to begin by casting on 16 stitches. I have my initial knit stitch, and then, as I've said before, I like to use the cable cast on, so I'm going to continue doing the cable cast on until I have, or I'm going to continue with the cable cast on until I have 16 stitches on my needle. See you in just a minute. So now I have 16 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Now I'm going to start picking up and knitting. The first one is going to be our center stitch. So, similar to on this side where I picked up the center stitch in the edge, we're going to pick up our center stitch right here from this, right here in this edge. And there it is. Like all the others we've had, we're going to put this marker right around the neck. Oops. Come back, come back. Lock it up. Right around the neck of that stitch. Okay. Then we're just going to pick up and knit 16. Again, from the middle of the two knit ridges, garter ridges, we're going to pick up and knit. So again, where we're picking up is just that other leg. And as I explained, it's a little easier coming this direction, going this side of the square. I guess as you're looking at the square, it's the right, top right side. This is just how I like my stitches. You can pick them up however you wish and whatever you think you like, whatever looks best to you. So we've got our center stitch here, so let's just double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14, 16. 16. Now, I'm just going to knit all the way back. Now, I'm doing my first right side row. I don't know if you can see it. I think you can. Yeah, you can see it there. So right here, this one is a little bit loose. Doesn't come up and match in with that as well as I would like. So I'll show you how I'm going to fix that as I do this center double decrease right here when I get to that. For right now, I'm going to be weaving in my end as I do my first right side decrease row. Okay, now, you know, I could probably just leave this and it wouldn't matter. Um, for some people, it wouldn't. What I'm going to do, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, okay, so I slip this stitch. I'm going to pull this up, and then I'm going to twist it so that I don't have that droop. I'm going to put this back, slip that stitch back, then this is actually my stitch to slip as if to knit, but I'm going to slip all 3 of these as if to knit and then go over the top. And you see how that's tightened that up so that I don't have that extra loose thing. I'm going to show you that again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up, keeping this out of the way, lift this up and put it onto my right needle as if I just made a yarn over. Then I'm going to take my left needle in through the front and transfer it. So there's actually a twisted stitch right there. Now I'm going to slip this stitch that we just slipped back. Now, originally, usually I'd just do 2, but I added an extra stitch there. So what I'm going to do is slip all 3 of these as if I'm doing a knit 3 together, but slip them over to my right needle. Do a single knit. Now take all 3 of those stitches and pull them over the top of that stitch. Now that's all nice and tight. Alright, now I'm going to keep going. Across these 15 stitches till I get to the end. Then I'm going to come back. I will join you again. You can see how nice and tight and clean that is now. I will join you again when I'm ready to add in my color. Okay, so I moved the stitch marker up to be around the neck of the center stitch, just so it'd be a little easier to see where that is. We're ready to join our next color. Looping our tail along, making our first stitch, making sure we don't lose our gray. It's a little fiddly as you start these colors sometimes because these stitches are so loose as you're trying to do the weaving in ends. So don't get discouraged and just practice a little bit. So the purple end is leaving a tail and I'm weaving in the tail is just sitting here till the next row, next right side row, and then it'll be woven in, and I'm just weaving in the gray. Up, then down over the top, up, down over the top. So I'm just going to keep going, do my center double decrease, do my next wrong side row, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I've got this woven in, the back side's woven in. I only have this one end left to weave in, and you can see on the backs we've got all of our ends woven in, all taken care of. So I'm going to weave this end in right here as I go across the front and knit these front stitches right here and do my decrease, and then I'm going to keep going and I will join you when we're at our very last decrease. See you in a minute. Alright, so we're done our last 3 stitches. Our last center decrease. Slip 2 as if to knit 2 together, knit 1, slip those 2 stitches over, and this square is done. Take our stitch marker, put it up, and we've got our first three squares done. So let's talk about this for a minute. We've got our 3 squares, our first square, our square to the right, and our square above. So now we know how to pick up stitches and cast on more. We know how to cast on stitches and pick up. And we've got nice blends there. This is looking really good, really good. All right, now so where do we go from here? Well, we can just keep forming one block at a time if we want. But we also want to know how to do the 2 at a time blocks, the rectangle blocks that go both a vertical rectangle and a horizontal one. So let's go over what the plan is for this 4x4 section that we're going to use as our tutorial. So we have these 2 that we've done already. Then we also have this color here from the library collection. Then we're going to go up 2 more single squares, a light one and then this dark one. Squish this together a little bit. Then let's go off to the side with one. Then we'll have our first vertical square be here on the corner, and it'll take up 2. We're going to have this be our giant 4 in the middle. So it's going to be this square, it's going to be this square, this square, this square, and this square. So we're going to need to do 5 squares before we're going to be ready to do this middle square. We're going to need to do these 3 and these other 2 right here. This one and this one. We're going to send this color across the top in a 2. Then we'll have this color here on the side, and this one's going to be up in the corner. So this one is going to be our vertical square. When we do our vertical square, this one's going to be our center 4 square, so we can learn how to do center 4. And this one up here is going to be our horizontal square across the top. So this is going to be our 4x4. Then we'll pick up along this edge and across the top and do our close. So this is going to be our little teeny baby blanket. So we can understand all of the elements that exist in the bigger blanket. And then we'll go back to the bigger blanket and talk about some other things to consider when doing that. So this is our layout, this is our plan. Now before I can do this, this square in the middle, here are our 3 that we have done. This one, the bottom corner, the dark purple right here. So let's see. If we take these out of the mix and put our squares in here. So before we could do anything else, like this big one or anything else that we would want to do, we're going to need to put these 2 colors in. Now I'm not going to do individual tutorials. This one is going to be cast on the same way as square number 3, going down and then picking up and going across. And this one's going to be done the same way as the purple velvet, picking up these stitches down here and then casting on to go across the bottom. Then casting on to go across the bottom. So we form those base stitches that then will pick up this color here. Alright, so this is Sakura by Colorful Eclectic, and this one is a random mini that I have. This is a mystery mini. Alright, so that's our plan. The next time we join, we're going to be talking about how to put in this big square, the 4 square in the middle. and these 2 other squares will have been done. We will have 5 squares on our little mini blanket. See you then. I hope you found value in this tutorial. If you have, please consider a one-time payment via PayPal or a regular subscription via Patreon. The links are down below and they are on the screen. Again, thank you for joining me. See you next time.